Hey guys, welcome to Bolt from the Blue Tarot. My name is Sam. I'm an intuitive, a card reader, and today I have a bunch of different decks, oracle cards, I've got tarot, some T-tabs, and maybe even some poetry if we're lucky. So we're just going to hop right into your reading. See what the T-tabs have to say. Your actions prove your greatness. Okay. Good enough for a starting message, evidently. Your actions prove your greatness. So we're transmitting. We're transitioning ideals into action. That's what I'm getting so far. Let's see what else. We're going to hop into Earth Wisdom Oracle. No, we're going to change up the order. What do we want? Poetry? All right, we are going to do some more T-tabs. Friendship is a gift that lasts. Your actions prove your greatness. Friendship is a gift that lasts. Let's see what else. Be kind to yourself. Always a helpful message. Live by your inner knowledge and strength. Then underneath, no, I'm getting that one's not for you. The one on top. Is that it? Okay, your actions prove your greatness. Friendship is a gift that lasts. Be kind to yourself. Live by your inner knowledge and strength. So I'm a little bit getting that someone here might be kinder to others than they are to themselves. You might have this ideal of treating others as unique and beautiful, as upholding the light within them, as seeing the sacred in them. And like me, you may be someone who reveres people as sacred. But unfortunately, also like me, you might be more willing to show these characteristics, these feelings, this kindness to others than you are to yourself. you may hold yourself to a very high standard, and what is maybe being pointed out here is to say, like, but what about you? Are you going to be kind to yourself? Because you're you are your own best friend here. And my sense is that you wouldn't speak to a friend harshly if they were on a journey of growth. But you may be speaking to yourself a little bit harshly. Let's see what comes up in the rest of the reading. All right, now Wisdom Oracle. Okay, Earth Wisdom Oracle. Let's see what we got. $25, Truth. This card is the reason that I got this deck. I love this art. Just the one. Reading from the book. Yes. Where is it? All right, so Foxglove helps open the heart and express feelings. Amazonite promotes knowing and speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The wheels of society are greased by civility, which sometimes means not always speaking the truth or the whole truth. However, in this situation, you are called upon to understand your own truth and to speak it clearly. No matter how strange it may seem, your truth is the music of your brave heart. Offer it to the world. I actively pursue my own truth and value it. I have the courage to sing my own unique, divinely inspired song, knowing that it adds to the goodness of the world. Okay, so with the harp playing here, I just feel like if this were your friend and they were playing the harp and they maybe haven't been playing that long, so maybe they aren't the best harp player. They're not performing in any concert halls or anything, but that's okay because they haven't been playing that long. And you take that perspective and you see the beauty in your friend, and you know that it pleases God for them to play the harp. The God within them sings, Spirit loves it, that they are engaging and creating beautiful music, even if it's not technically perfect. And you see that beauty in them, and you see them as radiant, and you would never give any feedback afterwards if they asked you, what did you think? You would never give any feedback that came from a critical place. If they asked for, constructive criticism, and you were a harp teacher, perhaps, you could, but, just think about all the kindness and warmth you would bring to them, the encouragement. And my sense is that possibly were you to be playing the harp for an equal amount of time, right? Equal amount of practice, and then you were to watch yourself at the same time play the harp. And it's not technically perfect, but you do a pretty good job for someone who has as much practice as they have. My sense is you would be a lot harsher with yourself. You would perhaps highlight the technical imperfections and focus on those to your own detriment. This isn't just about being kind to yourself, it's about what's useful in terms of learning the harp. And what makes learning the harp into a joyful life celebratory activity versus one of drudgery and heaviness, one that celebrates, I don't want to call it robotic, technical excellence, but precision over art, let's say. Technicality over humanity, perhaps. You guys will notice that I really, I amble through these readings. I'm not, I leave the humanity in, even the imperfections. There's perfection in the imperfections here. And if we only enjoy the part of playing the harp where we are perfect at playing the harp, it's going to be a long time before we enjoy playing the harp. And if we don't enjoy it along the way, how likely are we to continue to play the harp? So how likely are we ever going to get to that technical excellence in the first place, right? So there's some enjoy the journey and being kind to yourself along the way here. My sense is for a lot of you, most of you, possibly all of you, this is also about a spiritual journey, or primarily about a spiritual journey. I know myself, I can get very driven on my spiritual journey to the detriment of my human experience, almost, of all of the messiness that is just like a result of a human life, and thinking that those are things that I just have to move through or skirt or leave out of the experience because I'm trying to I have a spiritual mission here, right? But part of the whole thing is the human messiness, the process, the sometimes the tedium, right? There's a lot of tedious parts to learning a musical instrument. Believe me, I know how to play none of them. Because the tedium of those initial stages and the human messiness, I'm not going to get into this is about to become a whole thing about my musical history. We'll leave it at that. Good with that deck? Archangels. Cool. I seldom get to use this deck, but I love it. It's the Archangel Fire Oracle. So we'll see what archangels want to come out for you guys. Out of the gate, we got, I don't know how to say this one. Fuel. The Archangel Fuel. Fuel. All right, we're going to do more. Melchizedek, however you would like to say that. Just the two. Are we reading from the book? Okay. I'm getting read from the book, but just bits and pieces as guided. So we'll see. Number 19, ones and nines with fuel. The L part means of God. My name is Samuel. Okay. Fuel is about cleansing. Gentle flowing Fuel is the angel of the waters, and her role is to help cleanse the planet and ourselves of any debris toxins, negative vibrations, and emotions. The color associated with the angel Fuel is a beautiful shade of turquoise, like the crystal clear waters of the Maldives or the Caribbean. How to meet Fuel. Close your eyes and invoke Fuel, allowing her turquoise ray to flow down over and through you like a crystalline waterfall. Spend a moment soaking in this light. Imagine the waterfall becoming a flame and breathe in this sacred fire, taking in all of its healing and cleansing properties. Some nice cleansing with the elements here. Ask Fuel to work with the rains, streams, lakes, oceans, and the moon energy to help cleanse the earth and your own emotions of any unwanted energies or negativity. See the flames around you becoming liquid light and soak in this light once more. Imagine Fuel hands you a large conch shell filled with crystal clear water. As you drink this cleansing elixir, it helps to flush out all energetic and emotional toxins. Thank Fuel. Rinse off in white light and ground yourself. Open your eyes. So, whether it's from this, and this self-criticism can be very subtle, right? It's habitual. It can also be very overt. So either way, it's a heaviness that builds over time energetically, a rigidity, right? When I read about death in the Psalms or the Proverbs, I always think like they're not talking about literal death because the spirit lives on. What they're talking about is a kind of rigidity, a resistance to the flowing nature of what is, of life, right? The real death is rigidity, resistance, going against the flow or attacking against it rather than flowing with it. And Fuel is very much about flow, as you can see from this card. Moving like water. In any case, when this heavy, rigid, mechanical energy, when we've built it up and been in it for a while, we really need a cleanse of that. And if it's a habit, we can routinely cleanse it. And this is cleansing with elements of the earth, which ground us, get us out of our head. It's also cleansing with very flowing, sort of more feminine energies in terms of Mother Earth. Unhurried energies of nature that get things done naturally. It grounds us into a remembrance of our organic nature as human animals, really. All right, is that good for Fuel? Melchizedek, we're going to read from the book for that. Intuit from this one. Okay, yeah, we're going to go pure intuition, evidently. Melchizedek. So I've heard about Melchizedek in terms of an order rather than an individual. And this is kind of ancient magic. My sense here is like, what I'm getting from him is divine magician. like someone who understands universal laws and, like with fuel, flows with them, creates with them, co-creates with them for maximum results and an easeful efficiency that he couldn't accomplish on his own, just far less effort. You see how he's kind of looking in this cup like gleefully, sort of Santa Claus energy, where he's like, oh no, I don't have to worry so much. It's all done by magic. I set the intention, and I worked with some powerful laws of nature, and I just get to watch the results come to be. There's a useful perspective that I always forget, that sometimes other readers bring up, or manifestation folks, where they say that, like, with time just being a perception and there only being the ever-present now. Like, you've already done whatever you're trying to accomplish. You are already that thing, not in the sense of linear time, but you hold that potential and you have already accomplished it. And an interesting mind-bending perspective is that you're just watching the process play out. Like you're watching yourself become the thing that you already have become, are, will always be. And the only reason you've chosen to incarnate is to see what it's like to experience the process of it, rather than the knowing of it in its totality. Like, what if you didn't know how it was going to play out and you just had to have faith? What would that feel like? What would it look like, right? And there's this kind of gleeful energy of looking into, the magic cauldron, watching your manifestations bubble and grow. Yeah, just a very easeful sense. And it's very counter to that. I've described this like doing, accomplishing, toxic divine masculine, right? Toxic masculine principle. The emperor in reverse, this energy is like, I just picture this black, like tar goo energy. It's kind of like what is it from Spider-Man? Venom. And it kind of moves like that, and it's like, gotta get stuff done, must do, accomplished, right? And it helps me to picture that, because when you can imagine it as that energy, you're like, ooh, I might have to cleanse that away, right? Let's get some white light on that. Let's get some water. Let's flow that energy away. All right. Good on this one? There's some indecision here. Going to do a compromise. We're going to pull a card and just get some initial impressions. This one? Jeremiel. So right off the bat, just what I'm getting from this is, and we're just going to go real quick, something about being in your own energy. I just get this isolated in the snow, in your own igloo, you and maybe a pet. But it's easier to cleanse and keep from falling back into, that toxic masculine doing energy when we're just in our own energy, in our own sacred space. Often, that toxic energy is one that is perpetuated as good by society. And it's what a lot of sleepwalking people, it's just their go-to, it's their default mode. So when we're around other people, this can kind of wear off, and it can bleed into our spiritual journey. Like, we can start viewing spirituality as though it's one of just these things to instantly perfect, or to cross off of a list, something that's based around productivity rather than organic creation and processual experience. So that's just a piece of advice. If you're like, why am I falling back into this energy? It's a lot easier in the quiet, on your own, in nature, with animals, being in your own energy. Really important. I want to say, as you're watching this video, it's important for you. We should all be in this energy from time to time. It should be like 1 month out of 12 minimum. Everyone gets that time off, and like, what do you want to do with it? No choice. Go into the wilderness. Be on your own. Learn more about yourself and your own patterns. Anywho, it's getting a little lost in the that igloo energy. Where are we going now? Poetry? Yes. Okay, guys. Due to copyright, I'm going to, like, this poetry should be out of copyright. But you know how companies are, and editors and whatnot. So I'm going to keep this off camera, but it's a book of poetry by Pablo Neruda. This is The Heights of Machu Picchu. And I will be translating this from Spanish into English. Just kidding. This includes an English translation, so I'll be reading from that. But I'm going to intuitively flick through, stop where I'm told to stop, and we'll see what message comes out for you. Okay. This could not be reborn, a particle of death without a requiem, bare bone or fading church bell dying from within. This could not be reborn, a particle of death without a requiem, bare bone or fading church bell dying from within. So, what I'm getting from this, what I was saying about enjoying the process of living as a human being and the perspective about why our soul might choose to do that. What I'm getting from this is that, yes, the ever-present now is actually all one big ball of Play-Doh. It's all rolled into one. However, when you incarnate, you want to experience it in a linear way because it's novel, because it is interesting to do so. And one of the things about experiencing the ever-present now as a linear stretch of time rather than one big ever-present now is that each moment along the way only comes in this lifetime once, right? While you may be reborn, new lifetime, new body, new planet, new time, new space, that one moment that you were Sam, the human being, filling up your car with gasoline, and you smiled at the person across from you, also filling up their car with gasoline. And you both caught a twinkle in each other's eyes, right? That moment never comes again. That one moment that you sit in the botanic gardens looking at the water lilies never comes again. It's unique. Even in its tedium, right? It's like each moment is like a rare and beautiful flower, like an orchid. That's how your higher self views it. This moment is a rare and beautiful orchid that will never come again. And we can label it as bad, we can label it as good. It could be a black orchid, it could be a pink orchid, but it's unique and special and part of the process. Because it all builds to that thing that you become. It's all important. Any more from here? Okay, cool. Any more from Pablo Neruda? We do want some more Pablo. Okay. Before this in the book? Tell me when. All right, let's see. This one? Okay. I came by other ways, through streets, river by river, city by city, one bed after another, forcing my brackish semblance through a wilderness, till in the last of hovels, lacking all light and fire, bread, stone, and silence, I paced at last alone, dying of my own death. Okay. I wished to swim in the most ample lives, the widest estuaries. I came by other ways, through streets, river by river, city by city, one bed after another, forcing my brackish semblance through a wilderness, till in the last of hovels, lacking all light and fire, bread, stone, and silence, I paced at last alone, dying of my own death. This is very beautiful. And terrible and sad. Dying of my own death. Damn, Pablo. So I will take this back to what I was saying about the true death. The true death being one of rigidity, one of forcing yourself into a mental space where you can no longer enjoy the broadness of life, the richness of the tapestry, where moments get in the way rather than adding value. I don't know that he was talking about the end of his life as Pablo Neruda so much as he was maybe talking about the death that can occur when we forget why we incarnated in the first place. When we forget what we wanted to experience and how we wish to experience it. As someone beautifully playing music, as someone flowing with nature and the rhythms of the universe, as someone who enjoys the process and co-creates with the divine for the highest good of all, who gains mastery that isn't so much technical as it is subtle and cheerful. And someone who could find deep satisfaction in no one's company but their own, hearing nothing but the wind move through the cracks in your igloo. This is very reverent energy. It's sacred, truly. From here? Anywhere else? All right. We have some Oracle of Destiny. Arch. Whirl. There's only 2 cards that are quite like this, with the woman whose face is a portal, is a gateway. Saturn. Okay, that's it. Arch, whirl, Saturn. Oh, from the book? This one? Okay. Saturn we want from the book. The other 2 I think we can do intuitively. I'm going to read Saturn first in case this shakes anything loose. Top part. Okay, so there's an aspect of the hand section because this deck is about palmistry, and there's also a divinatory meaning. We're going to read both. Aspect of the hand, the middle finger takes on the characteristics of the planet and ancient god, Saturn, an old hermit, reconciler of opposites, mediator between the urges of the inner and outer worlds. Saturn is the place where the 2 worlds meet, the magic finger of the axis of destiny, the point of balance between all the tendencies revealed by the other fingers. A wise old man, a philosopher, a scientist, a drawbridge. Saturn is a solitary god because no one can learn our lesson for us. He teaches us discipline and autonomy. He leads us to transform the existing order to generate a new state of things. The appearance of Saturn is inviting you to thoroughly investigate and enforce your limits, the boundary beyond which you do not allow the outside world to suggest to you. Consider your relationship with the distances you have to set. You mustn't allow yourself to be invaded. Can you do this with the right balance, without going so far as to isolate yourself? I'm getting that I was a little bit hung up on that last part. I was just getting like big no energy for without going so far as to isolate yourself. It's like someone here would benefit from isolating themselves. And I don't mean closing off their heart. I mean being in their own energy. I often think of Saturn in terms of boundaries and discipline, but I seldom think of Saturn in terms of the hermit or of the spiritual master, the one who finds this balance. So with these 2 cards, it's like we choose what we fill our mind space with. And we can choose to fill it with peaceful vistas, perfect peace. We can be a window into transient beauty, is what I'm hearing. Of the ephemeral flow of what is, of all that is, just as it is. We can be a perfect reflection of God, right? Of source, of spirit. Of the natural way of being. Or, we can become we can get ourselves in a bit of a whirl by filling our mind space with things that are not us, that are not of God, that are not the way that is. I'm trying to figure out where the balance is here that's being suggested, like between what polarities. And I'm getting that is the wrong question. It's not a balance between two specific polarities as I would like to draw as a reader who's trying to create a clean, precise story for you, right? Because we're not doing that. We're honoring the natural human messiness that actually is a reflection of the essential nature of the universe, right? Which looks to us messy. To the ego, it looks messy. But it actually reflects a much higher and more organic order of a self-organizing universe. It's not tidy, but it is ultimately elegant and efficient, whether it looks it or not. And not in terms of productivity, but in terms of everything being done in the easiest way possible. What I'm getting is that Saturn is not, in this reading, a polarity, a balance between two specific polarities, and more just an overall balance, like the Justice card, universal balance. Balance with what is, balanced in yourself, a rebalancing. And sometimes that takes, always, it takes this drawing of certain lines in the sand with your big scythe here as Saturn, so that you can carve out this space to be the hermit. To get to know your essential nature. And in doing so, to discover God. This is very masterful energy with Melchizedek. There's this feeling of like, this is not your first rodeo. This is less about discovering something new for you and rediscovering something that you've known in past lives. One past life at least, but possibly many. Like, this is not your first awakening. Like, I'm just seeing Melchizedek as your highest self, right? Your soul, looking into your life and just being this window into your life and being with glee, with amusement. It's like, LOL. Oh yeah, that's contrasty, all right. That's the good stuff. But with this higher perspective that everything is all right in the end. And that it always was. Anything else for this reading? Any advice? Advice cards? I'm getting that it was mostly covered. We could do one advice card. No, I think this is whoever I'm talking to. This is just a little bit of a tweak and maybe an explanation as to why you are being called into this Saturn Jeremiel energy. A little bit of background about why it benefits you. And as we go through this, we need less of the cut and dry specificity and more of the organic, masterful, and subtle. And those are the kinds of messages that we receive because we're now ready for that. It's a little bit of like the training wheels are off kind of energy, which is huge, by the way. I would like to applaud you. Well done. Not everyone gets to this point. Most people don't even realize that they're riding a bike. Never mind that there are training wheels on it. Never mind that they could come off, So do take some time in this energy to celebrate yourself. It doesn't have to be a whole big thing. If you're like, Sam, I'm a very serious spiritual master. I don't, what are you suggesting? Like I buy party hats? It's like, no. You could literally, I don't know, this is so specific. You could literally eat a tangerine on a bench in the sunshine and appreciate each raindrop that fed the tree that created the tangerine, and enjoy each slice of that tangerine as a little slice of the sunshine that is hitting your face. And you could do a little wise internal smile, and that can be your celebration. You may have gotten to the point where that is all you need, because everything is so beautifully satisfactory. And if not, you're certainly progressing in that direction. So enjoy your tangerine in the sunshine. It is well deserved, and enjoy your time in your own energy. That's even better deserved, and something that will yield riches for you, is what I'm hearing. So congrats, enjoy, and take some time to yourself. Take it easy, guys. Love you lots, and I will speak to you in the next video.